What's up guys, Wildman here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Fortnite wildcard figure from Jazwares. On the front of the box you get a good look at the figure in the packaging along with all the accessories included with him. At the top right here you can see he is part of the Legendary series. And these figures are said to have 40 points of articulation, which is awesome. On the sides of the box you get the Fortnite name and you get a little in-game render of Wildcard himself. And on the back again you get a nice in-game render of Wildcard. And below that you get pictures of all the rest of the figures in the wave. On top of a picture saying more dropping in soon, which is very exciting because all these figures I think are great. So let's crack Wildcard out the box and see how good he is. If you didn't already know, with these Jazwares Fortnite figures they pack in a ton of accessories. And first we get the crowbar harvesting tool, detailed and painted very well. Next up you get the cuff case, again painted in that nice shiny silver. This is very cool looking. You do have the peg on the back to plug into the back of the figure. The cuffs on the top are a separate floating piece, which is nice. And then you do get the deagle from the game, painted in a nice shiny silver again. Little black paint on the handle right there. Sculpted very well. I like this a lot. And the last accessories are one thing that really sell me on these Jazwares figures, and that's the interchangeable faceplates. The first one you get here has the heart on his left eye, and to interchange the head sculpt, so you do see the seam going around the face right there. You just pull it off like that, and you just plug the face on over that. And here on the second faceplate, you get the spade over the right eye, painted again very cleanly. As for the third face, you get the diamond over his right eye. Very cool looking, painted well. And last, you get the clover over his whole entire face. Or at least over both of his eyes. Painted very good. As for the rest of the figure, the paint and sculpt is quite nice. You got the different layers of clothing, the buttons. It is just a simple paint color, white. But there is some shading in the white. It's like a blue shading effect. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it is there. Back of the figure, same thing. Just a white paint, but it's applied nicely. As for articulation, the head is on a ball joint. You can look up that far. You can look all the way down. Head can rotate 360 degrees. His shoulders are on a hinge. They can go very high up. They can swivel back and around. You get a bicep swivel. You get double jointed elbows. You get a hinge at the wrist. That allows the hand to go back that far. And forward just as good. The hand can also swivel 360 degrees. And you do have finger articulation on these figures. And I forgot to mention this figure does have butterfly joints. Upper torso is on a ball joint. You can crunch forward about that far. Can bend back really well. The upper torso can swivel all the way around and can rock side to side. You do have a cut at the lower waist, which also allows the whole torso to rotate. Legs are on ball joints, which he does get a pretty nice spread. He can kick that high, can kick back about that much. You do get a thigh swivel. You do get double jointed knees. You get a lower pants rotation, that's what I'm going to call it. You get a hinge at the foot that can't really go too far back or too far forward because the cuff of the pants does kind of hinder it, but the articulation is still there. And that joint does still allow for quite good ankle pivot. And you do get a toe hinge. And I forgot to mention he does come with another accessory, which is this RPG, which is very nicely painted and sculpted all throughout, especially the missile on the front. It does have that face painted on it, which is really cool. It's painted cleanly. He can hold this RPG fairly well. The pose is probably a little bit off, but I'm just trying to do this quick. But if I shake the figure around, it's not going to come out of his hands. And I think it sits there fairly nice. I'm sure if you mess around with it a little bit more, you could probably get a little bit better of a pose. But as for real quick, it does work, and it does look pretty good. You can hold it in one hand too, and it is a little bit loose, but that does sort of work. As for the Magnum he comes with, that is a very nice and tight grip. If I shake the figure around, it's not going to fall out of his hands. And even though there isn't technically a trigger there, The hands are sculpted to where one finger kind of looks like it is about to pull on a trigger. Again, from the other side it looks even better. His harvesting tool, which in this case is the crowbar, can be held well. If I shake him around, it's not going to fall out of his hands. And it can look fairly natural when holding it. And as for the back bling, it does sort of sit flush. It is sticking out a little bit. I'm sure I can push it in a little bit more, just cut the peg down a little bit, but I think it still looks good, especially from the back. As for size comparisons, here's Wildcard next to your average size Marvel Legends, which in this case is Vision. And I think these two scale really well together. Wildcard is a little shorter, as are most of the figures in this line, but this Fortnite line is a true 6-inch scale line, whereas Marvel Legends are a little bit taller. But he has a suited body, which I know a lot of people are going to like, especially collectors who do displays. And here he is just compared to a couple of other figures that are in the same wave. We have the Purple Skull Trooper and Rabbit Raider. And all these figures scale well together, as they should. They are different heights, but I kind of like that, because it's a little more variety and it kind of shows that they're different people in the costumes or in the suits or whatever. I think this figure is awesome, along with the rest of the Jazwares Fortnite figures. I will be posting more pictures of this figure along with other figures I review on my channel on my social media accounts. I'll leave the links down in the description below, so go check those out. And I do think these Fortnite figures are better than the McFarlane ones, as good as those are. I just think these are better. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button down below if you want more content. It helps support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.